Welcome to Functional Horsemanship. This is Roy. He's kind of my lead gelding. I'm using him to demonstrate for Denise, who wrote me that she wanted to be able to use a Mecate with a snaffle bit. And a Mecate is nothing more than a one-piece rein that provides an integral ground rope or get-down rope or lead line. It's a continuous rein, and it's usually anywhere from 20 to 24 feet long. I think a standard length would be about 22 feet. I took 21 foot of half-inch black braided yacht line, or what we call rappelling line, and on one end I just braided in a leather popper on one end. This is going to be the end that's going to be the lead line. And as I get this rope configured, I'll show you how I braided in some wax thread to be able to provide a center line for about the 8-foot length of rope that we're going to use for this Mecate. The Mecates, also called McCarthy's, which is a bastardization of the Spanish word Mecate, are not tied directly to a bit. I suppose you could, but I wouldn't do it. You use pieces of leather, which are called slobber straps, and all they are, just a piece of leather that goes through the bit and has a hole for the reins to attach through. They could be, in this case, they're just a piece of about 8 or 10 inch leather with holes at the end. They could be very ornate. They could be basket stamped or carved. They could be scalloped, which allows for the rope to bite. But all I'm going to do, if I'm rigging this on the horse, is I'm going to put these slobber straps in the bit to begin with. I'm going to start on the off side, take my running end of rope, go from inside to outside, go underneath the slobber strap and back down through the bit or the bite I made in the rope. Cooperate with the way there, Roy. So it looks pretty much just like that. Once you get that snug down, it's not going to come loose. You take your rein and you can loop it over the saddle horn, or the horse's neck. Take the end that I had the leather popper through, and I'm going to put it again inside through outside. And I'm going to keep feeding it through until I have the center line of my 8-foot rein equal. And the reason I do that is when you're riding, it gives you an immediate visual reference and a reference that you can feel with your hands about where the center of your reins are at. Just loop that behind the saddle horn, and again I'm going to come from inside and go down through the bite in that rope I made, and this is where I'm going to cinch this down. There. Now I've got my 8-foot reins, I've got my center marker, put that behind the saddle horn. This excess rope here, which on a 21-foot rope is, or 21-foot Mecate, counting about the foot it takes to tie on either end of the Mecate, and the 8-foot reins I've left to ride with. This gives me about a 10-foot lead line here. And how am I going to secure this lead line? I could simply take the running end of my Mecate here, I can half hitch it to my saddle horn and ride with it that manner. I could loop this and I could tie it up with saddle strings right here so it's out of my way as well. And a very popular way to also ride with this is to take a bite in it and shove it up underneath your belt. And it's very important, if you're going to do this, to go from bottom to top so when you're riding that you're going to have to be able to manage this loose rope, but if you happen to fall off or get bucked off or your horse spooks or whatnot and you hit the ground, you've got a way to still retain control of your horse. Or you can get down off your horse, keep your reins up around the saddle or on his neck, and then pull these out, and then you can lead him. Although it's not necessarily the best thing to do is to lead him from the bit in his mouth. But again, this is a Mecate. I chose to make a 21 footer as opposed to anywhere from 20 to 24 feet, which is normal. I just put a braided leather popper on one end. The rope sealed with heat. I made an 8-foot continuous rein from my offside slobber strap over here, as you can see. I've got a center line marked so the rider can immediately tell what the center of the rope is. And then the rope is friction held here on the slobber straps, giving me about a 10-foot length of rope that I can either tie up, put on my saddle horn, or weave through the bottom of my belt and ride with it and give myself a get down rope. Okay, Denise, I hope that helps. If you have problems rigging this, give me a call. I'm going to also put some pictures of this on the site for you. You have a safe journey. Functional Horsemanship. Thanks, Roy.